Oh, they scrubbed that internet down. If they wanted us to know it, we would know it. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Deja, and as you can tell by the title of this video, today we are going to be discussing Kim Kardashian's very questionable first marriage. Now, you're probably thinking of her first husband that she was married to for like 72 days, Chris Humphries, the basketball player from whatever basketball team. You would be absolutely wrong. The marriage that I'm referring to is the one that took place when she was 19 years old, where she ran off and eloped to this 29-year-old man named Damon Thomas. That's what we're going to get into. Now, who is Damon Thomas? As it stands today, Damon Thomas is a very successful CEO and record label owner. He is a 5-time Grammy Award winner.
What? Cap.
And he is a multi-platinum selling producer. So he has a few notches on his belt. He's done some things. And he was already kind of like successful. I'm not even going to say kind of. He was pretty successful already when him and Kim met. But we're going to take it back. And before we even get into the background, I just want to make it very, very clear that this man is very elusive, very mysterious, and allegedly a little bit shady. So there was no background on like the childhood, the upbringing, the where he's from, what school he went to, what his family was like. They just kind of plop you in the middle when it's like, oh, it's the 90s and he's making music with Suge Knight in them. Okay. So in the 90s, he was making music for artists like Tupac and Brandy. He garnered a good bit of attention to the point where he was introduced by a man by the name of Pete Farmer.
I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing.
To Babyface, and Babyface was so impressed that he wanted to work with him personally. So they signed a contract, and he signed the contract for $75,000 and a promise from Babyface that he would teach him everything he needs to know to be successful in the music industry, which is kind of a weird deal when originally it was supposed to be like $300,000. And then you're going to promise him to teach him everything you know. But it seems like he knows a good bit since he's gotten this far without your help. But what do I know? $75K and a promise. That's what he agreed to. While working with Babyface through the late 90s, he actually helped produce some pretty big songs. Like These Are the Times by Dru Hill, Never Gonna Let You Go by Faith Evans, and Most Girls by Pink alongside Babyface. So he had some things to add to his list, okay? After his time working with Babyface, Damon actually wanted to kind of spread his wings a little bit, gain some more experience, and see what other opportunities were out there for him. So he interviewed with the Dark Child team, and he met a man by the name of Harvey Mason Jr. Damon never began working with the Dark Child camp. He did remain friends with Harvey, and later on down the line, the two joined forces and became a production duo. In 1999, the Underdogs were formed, with Harvey having so much experience under his belt, working side by side with Rodney Jerkins on big projects like Michael Jackson's Invincible album, Say My Name by Destiny's Child, It's Not Right But It's Okay by Whitney Houston, and He Wasn't Man Enough for Me. The pair were evenly matched and sure to create magic. And they did. They wrote and produced songs across multiple genres from R&B to K-pop into the 2010s, including, but definitely not limited to, No Air by Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown, How You Gonna Act Like That by Tyrese, and Baby It's You by JoJo. They also wrote and produced the complete soundtracks for 2007 Dreamgirls, starring Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson, and Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. Their credits are like super duper long. They have like almost 400 credits or something like that as a duo, and then they have their own separate things that they did as individual songwriters and producers. So pretty impressive, I will say. Now for the rest of this is going to get a little bit shady. And I just want to put a big fat allegedly over this whole entire video. It is all alleged. I do not know these people. I don't know a thing, child. I'm just a girl on the internet flapping my gums. Don't take nothing I say serious. So in the year 1998, Kim Kardashian would have been around 17-ish years old, attending an all-girls Roman Catholic school by the name of Marymount High School in Los Angeles. Now, her father, Robert Kardashian, was a very successful, high-profile lawyer, and his success as a lawyer allowed the family to mix and mingle with pretty successful families in the Los Angeles area, which led to things like Kim and her older sister, Kourtney, dating two of Michael Jackson's nephews. These two were Tito Jackson's sons, and they were also in the R&B group called 3T. Now, Kim and his son TJ were childhood friends, but after many years of friendship, they formed a romantic relationship and they began dating in 1994. The relationship lasted till about 1996 until he broke up with her for some mysterious reason. They don't know. He never said. They just kind of broke up, and they were young, so it is what it is. They broke up. Despite ending their romantic relationship in 1996, the two remained close friends. So when 3T was at Neverland Ranch recording music with a music producer by the name of Damon Thomas, who would have been around 28 at the time, Kim Kardashian just so happened to be hanging around, child. Okay, and apparently she saw something she liked. I don't know what that would have been, but she saw something and she was interested enough to ask one of their mutual friends to introduce them, or reconnect them is the word that was used in Damon Thomas's 2022 interview. Reconnect. And just a little side note, the mutual friend is Kevon Edmonds, Babyface's older brother, who's also a singer, songwriter, probably producer too. But he's a member of the group After 7. And he's even older than Damon Thomas. How the hell is that a mutual friend of a teenager? I don't know, but that's the story and how it's being told. Kim was only possibly 18 at the very oldest in 1998. And it's being implied that they knew each other before this. Odd? I think so. So if Damon and Kim were acquainted before being reintroduced in 1998, how many years prior are we talking? Because it's already illegal. If it's too early in the year, it's already illegal. And also, the only conclusive proof I can find of Damon Thomas producing a song for 3T. Now, mind you, they could have worked on other things that just did not come to fruition, but the only published song that he produced of theirs was a song in 1995 called Sexual Attention.
No, don't like that.
So if he and Kim met before 1998, it could have very well been as early as 1995 when she was only possibly 15 at the oldest, and he would have been around 25. Exactly what I thought. See, we here with it. Again, the numbers change depending on who's telling the story. But it's fishy. The numbers are fishy. The math is fishy. The fact that I have to do math at all is crazy. Next on the list is the marriage. We were in 1998. They get reintroduced. Now we're in 1999 and we're going to be running off to get married pretty soon, okay? So Damon says that by 1999, Kim Kardashian was no longer speaking to her mother. She had moved out of the house and was not talking to her mother anymore. He does not get into the details, which to me was annoying because it's like, not only am I nosy, but why did you bring it up if you weren't going to elaborate? Like, why mention that detail? Because you could tell your story without adding that, which kind of adds to me like questioning his credibility at times, because it's like he'll add a little bit of something on there just to be like, yeah, I know things, but he don't want to tell you nothing. So you got to be weary of those types as well. But anyways, she wasn't talking to her mother at the time that the two of them eloped. Now, after claiming to DJ Vlad in this interview that it was just young love, like, oh, we were just kids, it was just a thing we did, he tries to reiterate that he was 28 at the time, not 29. As if that matters when the girl is 18, 19. Like, I don't think it matters how close to 30 you were. It's the fact that you're pushing 30 and you're marrying a teenager. That's questionable. Now, I'm not trying to say, you're 30, you pushing 30, you got one foot in the grave, because I'm 27 myself. So at 27, though, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm just a crazy kid in love. Like, no. So it does make me a little bit skeptical of his version of events on certain things, because you thinking 1 year was going to just make all the difference. Like, oh, I was actually 28, not 29 when I married that teenager.
Not on my watch.
The shadiness doesn't start and stop with him, though. Because on a 2018 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim says, quote, "I did ecstasy once and I got married. I did it again and I made a sex tape. Like everything bad would happen. In his 2022 DJ Player interview, Damon says that after he saw that clip of her saying that she was high on ecstasy when they got married, he was shocked to see her going with that narrative because he had no knowledge of that. And it wasn't like they just met each other and randomly got married. They were together in a relationship for over a year before they actually got married and remained married for another 4 years. He says that whether she was or not, it was irresponsible of her to put that information out there publicly because they both have their own families and children, and their kids actually attend school together. So when he runs into the family at the schools and the events and things, everything's always cordial, it's always pleasant. You know, people speak, people say hi, and they move on about their business. Like there's no bad blood. He even says he could say things and really, quote, blow up the spot about things he knows about them and what was going on in the family when he was around them. But he would never do that because of the kids being involved. That's another one of those like tidbits that I said he'd be adding in there. It's just like, shut up. If you're not going to say it, then shut up. And I'm going to be careful with how I say this next part because, you know, YouTube. Reggie Wright Jr. also went on to say that Damon was trying to extort the Kardashians by threatening to reveal explicit tapes to their father, Robert Kardashian, that contained proof of Kim and one of her sisters, assumed to be her older sister, Kourtney, engaging in certain activities with another person. Yeah. And I was actually kind of like, first of all, because I don't know who that man is. I'm not trying to say I don't like he's nobody or like he's not established or anything, but like I don't know who he is. So I was just like, that's crazy. That's an outlandish claim, but it was so specific. I was just like, there should be proof of this if he's saying this. So I did some snooping. And I was actually able to find in season 1 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, episode 8, the family actually discusses an extortion situation, like a blackmail situation. And I vaguely remember this going on at the time, but the family paints this issue for the show as pictures, not a video, of Kourtney from high school resurfacing, but the verbiage and the body language tell a different story. Like, Kim is in shambles. Kim is crying. Kim is blaming herself, and she's saying, oh, there were some pictures that Kourtney took with her boyfriend or took for her boyfriend when she was in high school. And I took them from her as a joke. And then they got into someone else's hands, and now they're using it as a threat against our family. But Kourtney was so like not bothered by the situation in a very weird way. I'm gonna link the clip down below so like you can see what I'm talking about as far as like the body language and the verbiage that's being used. Definitely, if you don't do anything else, go watch that clip, because it kind of makes me believe that Reggie man a little bit. Like, yeah. And then it got settled so quickly too. Like, Chris gets on the phone, she makes a call, and then it's just handled, almost like they knew who it was. Like I said, I'll link it down below for you guys to see for yourselves and draw your own conclusions. Are mentions of possible DV with Kim citing specific incidents in the divorce documents, such as being punched in the face, slammed against walls, and thrown across rooms. She claimed that he was also controlling, even making her quit jobs and college, stating directly from the documents, quote, Damon decided what we would do and when we would do it. He said he wanted to know where I was at all times. Kim also alleged that Damon tried to convince her that her mother and sisters were evil. A Daily News article that will be linked below even makes mention of the inappropriate images of one of her sisters being showed to their father, Robert Kardashian, allegedly being concocted by Damon. I don't know how legal that is for them to actually like blame him for that if that hasn't been directly proven, but they say that in the article. And again, that's going to be linked below so y'all can lay eyes on that for yourselves. But after 3 years of alleged abuse, Damon Thomas was actually the one to file for divorce from Kim in 2003, after it's assumed that she cheated on him with her next boyfriend, Ray J. And I'm saying heavy alleged on this, but I really shouldn't even bother because it's documented everywhere. Like, if you Google when Kim and Ray J got together, it overlaps with the time she was still married. The tape that was recorded in 2002. when she was very much still married. Despite the tape being only released in 2007 after her and Ray J broke up, that was recorded in 2002 when she was still a married woman. The divorce was not filed even until 2003. So we can't even say like, oh, they were separated at the time or something. They were still like very much married. And Ray J actually said that Kim left her husband for him. Anyways, when the divorce was set and done, Damon Thomas was ordered to pay Kim Kardashian a lump sum of $56,000. And that was the end of that. I still have so many questions. There's so many inconsistencies. There's so many weird like timing issues. There's weird age gaps. There's weird friend groups that you didn't know existed. Who is Pete Farmer? I don't know why I'm so like stuck on that, but I'm like, they kept name dropping that man. Like, who is that, child? I don't know him. I feel like they scrubbed that internet down and they don't want us to know, so we just won't. I don't think either one of them is ever gonna like clear up or clarify any further than they have. And that's just that. I guess we're just gonna have to mind our business on the rest. But if you found this video interesting, give me a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't. I'm already researching my next topic, so hopefully you'll be tuned in for that as well. But until then, bye.